Y'all gonna get the cups up. All right. Salute. We about to have a good show.
All right.
Hey, welcome to a fifth or something. Hey, we have in the house today Tim Field. We're gonna give him a little hand clap. How about that?
One of Dallas.
Just a little bit.
That's right.
One of Dallas' finest. That's what's up. All right. Hey,
We in the house.
ain't nothing wrong with that.
I'm home, man.
That's right. That's right. Hey, and you got your co-author with you here, man. You know, you wanna introduce your boy?
We're excited to be on this platform. Thank you for the invitation. But it doesn't happen with Shareem Herndon Brown making a call to me about writing a book. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna get into who he is, but let's say he's from Brooklyn. He's everything New York is. Well educated, well versed, and been doing this education thing for the last 25 years. So
Brooklyn. In the house.
In the house.
Yes.
I wanna know a little bit about Shareem too, though.
All right.
Well, we already know the other dude.
The other
I want to know something about Shareem first. You know,
We'll ask him some questions, man. Put one on.
From Brooklyn.
Yes, sir.
In your 40s, right?
In my 40s.
I heard you were a teacher at Georgetown before too, right?
College admissions officer at Georgetown.
Okay. So first, I'm like, what did you do as a youth? Did you play sports? Were you a ladies' man?
I made I play sports and I was a ladies' man.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So you tell me.
All right.
Your journey.
There you go. From Brooklyn, New York. Yeah, I'm a distinguished gentleman with Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated.
That's what's up.
Okay.
I ain't pledged nothing, you know what I'm saying? My story is I went to Morehouse College, and that's more than enough. We'll talk about that as we get into this.
To the house. Okay. So now.
Hey, man. There's anything else you want to know?
Now that we've got
we don't need to know all that. All that. Yeah. Keep your numbers to yourself. We don't need to know your numbers. I mean, shit.
So now, what was you asking? Go ahead.
No, I just want to know. What made you guys get together to write this book?
I'll start. He'll finish. This book gets the origins of it came during 2020 when we was all at home during the pandemic. We watched George Floyd, watched the racial reckoning of America, and I was pissed off. I was reading all these things on Instagram from kids talking about the issues they were having as being black kids at particularly private schools. And as a kid who went to private school, my kids go to private school. I taught at private school, so I had this real, magnetic attraction to what they were saying. Anyway. A common thread to a lot of what they were saying was about college counseling and how they didn't feel like they were getting properly served by their school counselors. Mm-hmm. So in a fit of impulsive rage, I'll say, and rage is a big word, but I was impulsive and just pissed off. I called Tim. I've known Tim for about 10 years. We had met at a professional conference. He has college admission. I work on kind of application side, but we got cool, went out to lunch a few times. And anyway, I called him like, yo, we should write a book. For black people about college counseling. I was I was pissed. Mm-hmm. But that's where it started with me being mad.
Right.
And making a phone call that I said to myself, if he picks up, I got to do it. But maybe he won't, because then I could just have this fleeting thought.
Right.
And he picked up, and here we are.
There we go.
Yeah, and so, obviously, he was like, man, we need to talk about these college counselors. We need to tear it down. We need to let them know they ain't treating our black kids right. All black kids need to go to HBCUs. I was like, you didn't even go to no HBCUs.
You didn't even go.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, you sit back.
And so, we pulled back a little bit, and, we said that let's evaluate this whole situation. Another, important thing, that I thought was that, there's, data out there that there's just an information gap. That a third of black students going to college get their information from inside the household. Mm-hmm. That's versus 2/3 of white students get information from inside the household. So where are they getting their information from? Are these people who giving them information understand their experience? Do they have their best intentions? And there are a lot of great college counselors, school counselors out there, but we just wanted to provide a resource to people who maybe didn't go to independent school, went to a big public school, or maybe students, their parents never went to college and they just need some help. Right. So we wanted to provide a resource for information. And then obviously we wanted to, say that HBCUs are a great resource. And so we wanted to redefine what success looks like. And so If we weren't going to applaud President Barack Obama going to Occidental, transferring to Columbia, his wife going to Princeton, and the accomplishments they had, we need to also applaud Oprah Winfrey, who went to Tennessee State. We need to applaud Vice President Kamala Harris, who went to Howard University. We need to applaud Michael Strahan, who went to Texas Southern. We need to, applaud, all these great HBCU graduates. The only federal holiday named after a Black person is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and he went to Morehouse. So we can't say that success happens at Harvard, Princeton, Yale, Stanford. It happens at any institution. And so we wanted to have that conversation. And then I think that the last thing we wanted to do was just, provide a resource so people knew multiple colleges, universities. So throughout the book, we talk about, predominantly white institutions. We talk about historically Black institutions, where they're at, how big they are, what their settings are. And then, we just know different people come at this process in a different way. And we just wanted to provide a resource to put it out there in the world.
All right. Because that was going to be my question. It's like, how is it that you came about to say, okay, we as our children need help in this area? So, you've answered that question in that, because that was something as I was reading through the synopsis in the book, and I was like, how did you come to the fact to say
you read the book cover to cover before this interview?
No, I did not. I had other things to do. All day, every day.
I know. I was the same way. I was like, dog.
He called me. Did you read the book? I read at it. Ain't gonna lie.
All good.
But to your point, one of the things as we were interviewing families, one of the first mothers we interviewed says, "I ain't reading no book cover to cover."
Right.
I tell me what I need to do.
Right.
And when I need to do it.
Right.
And so the third part of the process talks about this is when you need to start, this is what you need to do, this is when you need to do it. So if you only wanted to read those 30 pages of the book, you're good. You got what you needed.
Right. Do you sell it in clips? Like what if
ain't no cliff notes to it?
No, I know it.
Don't say that too quick. We thinking about it.
Let me tell you why I'm saying this, because the subscription based everything is the shit.
You about to start something.
No, this how hey man, this how this works, man. If y'all break the book up in chapters,
so what you need.
If I need this,
Shareem is already there. Yep.
No. You know what?
And this is a conversation. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Again, I don't want to give it away.
Don't give it away.
It's in my professional and personal opinion that we have a good product here.
Yeah.
It came from our heart. It's a purposeful project. We're proud of it.
Right.
And we did it for the people.
And I think anything that you have that passion for and you believe in it, even if it doesn't succeed, as long as you saw it through to fruition.
Again, I feel very good right now. So we're celebrating a 6-month anniversary of our book being out. It came out September 6th, 2022. It is now March 6th, 2023. All that said, 6 months, we've sold over 5,000 books.
There you go.
That is remarkable in the book industry.
Only 1% of books in their lifetime sell over 5,000 books.
And we out here hustling the book. Hustling is a word that's probably overused, but sharing the book, selling the book, whatever you want to call it,
right,
because we believe in it. We want people to have it. So with that, to answer your question going back, because we wrote it for the people, we wrote it with such good intentions that I'm very comfortable saying it's time for us to profit off of our good intentions.
It is.
And a subscription-based something or other, again, which is something that I will have in my company, my own personal company, very, very soon, strategicadmissionsadvice.com.
Hey, shout it out, man.
But I want to be very clear. We have such good information in there, and we care so much about it, and we want to match with the people who care about it. You care about where you put your money.
Oh, yeah.
So buy the book. Thank you. When we have something that can be digestible in a way, subscription or otherwise. Right now, the main thing is the main thing, which puts the book out there.
Right.
But soon come.
Yeah. So one of the things I think that helped us, what's the book we read about the dreamers? The
Visionary, Rocket Fuel.
Rocket Fuel.
Visionary and Integrator.
Yeah. So basically, as we were going through this process, we read this book. So he's the big idea person. Ideas are clicking every minute. Right now, probably ideas formulating. He'll call me up. Hey, we need to do this. Hey, we need to do that.
Yep.
You know, as we were writing the book,
That's us.
he was like, hey, you know, what's the marketing plan? We need to get. I say we need to finish the book. If we ain't got no book,
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
if we ain't got no book, then we ain't got nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
Then he's like, hey man, we need a subscription based thing. We need to do this. I mean, we should, you know, hey, we need to pitch the NFL. Like he's up here in the clouds.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, hey, listen, man, we need the book. You know what I'm saying? And when we get the book, we need to talk to anybody.
And let me tell you something.
We gonna be talking to, like, you know, 2 and 3 people. I don't know if that's the best use of our time. I said, listen, we just need to get it out there.
Yeah.
It's gonna grow.
Right.
But you know, we had this conversation. He's like, we need to create on our website a subscription based, you know, module where people can, you know, do it, because that's when we're making passive income, when we're making money in our sleep. And like he's going, I was like, hey, listen, we balance each other out. He calls me measured, you know, and like, so
which is a good thing, which is good. It offsets my impulsivity, my bad,
You good.
right? You know, which I called him about the book in the first place. But also, yeah, the ideas person, and he has good ideas too. Bottom line is that we got to execute. And the book needs to have its time out in the streets. Again, 6 months.
Right.
Let's think about it. 6 months, we grinding, we're out here, we're sharing it, we're connecting with people on it. But eventually, you know, and I know he believes that we haven't formalized what the idea will be. Everything has a season. I don't want to rush the process.
Right.
So I've had to come to that realization through conversations with Tim.
But let me tell you something. There's nothing wrong with the dynamic that y'all have. I'm like you.
Mm-hmm.
He's like you. I got these dreams, man, and they're big.
And I'm
You know what I mean?
dude,
But-
slow down.
but
Let's
this is
get
the thing
this
with me.
perfect first.
I've had plenty of dreams that's been this big, and I've made them
Correct.
go there.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Go. Let's accelerate to it. I know we
Right.
get there.
And so, like I tell my daughter, you know, the sky is not the limit. There's a whole universe above the fucking sky. You dig what I'm saying? So you keep going. You dig what I'm saying? So don't take those dreams down. Keep them dreams high, but keep them grounded.
Seasons.
You dig what I'm saying? Yeah,
I like
yeah,
that.
100%,
There's a season for everything.
100%.
We were in a season of writing, then we were in the season of promoting the book when it first came out in the fall.
Right.
Which, right, you know, it's freshly out. You know,
Right.
boom, boom, boom. We
Mhm.
took a few months off to be introspective about what we had to do
There's
next.
New York right there.
Oh, talk with my
came
hands,
out.
with my
No,
hands,
it
right.
came out.
And then, so we took, I guess, December and January. We just peel back a little bit, you know, but now it's that season again that we got to share. We got to promote. We got to make sure it gets in the hands of people because we care. It's the college application season. And then, yes, there will come a time where people will be so hungry, so thirsty for it that they'll do anything for it. If they want to cut a check monthly,
Mhm.
let's
Oh,
talk.
Let me tell you something. You know what? It don't even have to be a big check.
No,
You know what?
$50 a month.
That ain't. It don't even have to be that much. Think about it. You get 5,000 people paying you $1 a week. I pay $1.07 for something.
And you don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is, but I'm afraid if I turn it off,
Sometimes I'm going to lose something
I'm
that
gonna
I
need it.
use it.
if you charge somebody $1.07 a week, they ain't gonna miss $1.07. Everybody got $1. You dig what I'm saying?
Not this motherfuckers around the corner. know you've been down the street. They ain't got $1.
Now, they got something over there. They got something.
We'll talk
The
about
book
that.
is the main thing. It's the main thing.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, and right now, I mean, we went through the process of writing it. We went through the process of promoting it. We went through the process of, trying to develop these relationships. And it's like people are finding us and saying, we want to share this message. And, that's exciting because when we did this, it was obviously, you want to sell books, but most importantly, we wanted to get the information because we really feel strongly that in order to decrease this wealth gap, college is going to be the main place. College is going to be the main conduit to do that. Obviously, they're going to be entrepreneurs. Obviously, they're going to be people who, go to the military. They're going to be people who find other means to go about, making their money. But the primary way is going to be college, and we want to make sure that they have that information for them.
Gotcha.
And this is what he does. Like constantly, like when I'm making a point, he'll disappear. You know what I'm saying? Like we're literally, we'll be about to,
Smooth
we're
got
about,
up, was
we're
like,
about to-
I'm outta
we're
here.
about to take the stage, and then he
gotta
disappears. I'm like, where does cat go? Like,
Hey, he had to go pee. Sometimes
Do I come back strong?
There it is.
As long as I
What
come
do you-
back strong, you should be all right.
What he doing? He wants you to make like another introduction. He like, here this motherfucker come.
Allow me to
And he walk in like, what's up?
Yeah. I have another question for you too, both of you. So in writing this book, do you feel like it's something in the house? Because, some of the parents may not have the education. They may not have the the mind process to tell you, hey, this is what you need to do as you go in your way. Do you feel that, or how did you learn that, there are parents out there who don't know, to tell these people or tell your children that this is what you need to do? You know, how did you guys come to that? Like, man, that light came on. It's like maybe this is why they're not succeeding.
Well, and it's not even about succeeding. It's about getting the information about just what is out there and available, understanding their options out front. So it's not even, again, success is a tricky word. We wanted to put it out there because we understand very intelligent, professional people that we know don't understand this process, and they have kids. And because they have kids and are asking Tim on the side, so what should my daughter be doing right now as we think about college 5 years from now? He tells them, he just rattles out of his brain. It's his natural form. And same thing for me to an extent. So bottom line is, we understand that people don't know what they don't know. So how do we close that gap? We wrote the book. And I think, again, it's a big sweeping statement, but many of the Black people we know, and don't know, don't invest a lot in education, right? Even if you go to private school, then you say, once I pay the private school tuition, I'm done.
Yeah.
They should take care of the rest.
Right.
Or I move to the suburbs, live and go to a quote unquote better school system. I'm done. I've done my job. So Tim identified that, was like, we're not getting information about this process to our families for whatever reason, and the white people are. And bravo to them. No, it's not a bad thing,
Right.
but it's one thing that we felt like we needed to share too. So here we are.
And also the assumption is, for a lot of families, we interviewed over 200 families, first generation, fourth generation, rich, poor, predominantly white institution, historically Black college from coast to coast. And, one of the things that we found was their assumption was this process has not changed in 25 years. And this process changes daily. Like our book is almost outdated. Like we're talking about in the book, we're talking about Deion Sanders being in Jackson State. Gone.
Not there no more. Yeah.
Exactly. There's a pending case with the Supreme Court where they may take, the ability to consider race and ethnicity out of it. And so, what does that mean? And so some of the stuff that we're writing about in the book, is outdated and, because it's constantly changing. And if that happens in a 3-year period, when we started 2020, people who are like, oh, I graduated college in 1995, 1996, even 2000, saying it's the same, it's completely different. There's been so much that has changed. The introduction of the Common App, which is the platform to where, when, we went to college, you had to get on the typewriter, you had to write it out. So you was only applying to as many as you wanted to do.
Photocopy, right? 10, that's it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Out of this.
Yeah. So kids right now, they can go to the Common App and they say, I want to apply to 20 different schools. Boom, submit. Done. And so it's so much easier, and so it just changes the dynamics of how college happens. We wanted families to know that. Obviously, we wanted to talk about money in this process, and so I'll let Shireen talk about that part.
I think too often, and again, I'll count myself, my first generation family, my parents didn't know, but we don't consider cost as much as we should when we send our kids to college, right? Some people say, well, because I had to take out loans, or, then I'll take out loans for you, or I want you to go to the quote unquote best school, and not recognizing what that may cost you, but just say, I'll do anything for my kid. The name brand, that's the return on investment. There's an argument to support that, absolutely. But we do ourselves and our kids an injustice when we tell them that no matter where you get in, I'll take care of it. Because if you can't, you got to take out Parent Plus loans, you got to second mortgage your house, you got to dip in your retirement. That doesn't make sense in terms of building wealth, because we're just going back in debt. Right. So we have a cost. When building a college list, I want people to consider cost as number one. How much do you have? How much you willing to spend? How are you going to get it? That's number one. Then you figure out where you want to go, location, and how that's going to factor into the situation, weather Tim always talks about, but also then building the college list. Think about the academic major. Be intentional. Once you go there, what is the goal? What is the end game? And that should be a career, ideally not a job. And we understand that's a perfect world, and the world's not perfect, but I think sometimes we just throw two snowballs on the wall, see what sticks,
Mm-hmm.
and don't understand the finances behind it, the where you're going to put yourself physically, the intention behind the major, and then what that could lead to. So we want to just inform more families, Black families, that there needs to be more thought given to this process than you say Mikey needs to go to college, period, because there's too many colleges to say that.
I feel good now because my daughter, she get ready to
that's what I was about to say.
UTA, but she knew we had a plan for her.
It is.
She wants to be a nurse.
It
You
is.
sure? Because I'm not paying for this. If you second guess or if you change your mind, you on your own. You got one shot at this. And we're not playing games because this is not a game. This is a financial
This is
investment.
money.
It's a
We live in
financial
America.
investment. Yeah.
Let's
So,
not front on that.
Granted, she get to go to college for free because I am private military.
Okay.
But it's still, that's a benefit I'm giving you that I'm not giving my son because, you're ready to go. He's only 5. We got time to plan for him. So you take this.
Wait. You got a child going to college. You got a 5-year-old.
Hey man, leave this out that man bedroom, B.
Hey man,
Bedroom.
The math ain't mathing. You know what I'm saying?
oh, hey,
Don't worry about my math, nigga.
hey, you know what? No, hey, I talk about it all the time.
You
dog.
can't even add, so we ain't gonna talk math with you. But
Oh,
no,
I can
so-
add. I can count.
But no, it's like, so I tell all the time, it's like, I'm going to give you everything you need to be successful. Take these tools I'm giving you and build you a life. So if you mess it up, though, don't say I didn't. So this is on you.
So let me ask you this. So she had the interest in nursing.
Yes.
All right. Because Shireen, and this is the point. He disappears. He disappears. We shared in this process of writing the book. So we went about the process of taking the lead in different chapters, and one of the chapters is called "Liberal Arts is a Luxury." And so it's this idea that parents send, specifically Black parents send children to school, say, "Oh, I want to study art history. I want to study philosophy."
For what?
And that's his point. His point is, obviously, if you have the means, which a lot of Black people don't, if you have the means to send your college and they can study whatever, and then they can come out and you can take care of them and they can continue to thrive, then yes, do that. But a lot of people don't have that. So what we're doing is, saying, obviously we want you to make the most of your college experience, but we also want to make sure that what are you going to do when you finish? Can you get a job? Can you go into the marketplace? What skills have you learned? And so we want to make sure that those are present because, you want, when your daughter comes out nursing, that profession, they always have jobs. I know a travel nurse, I know people work in hospitals, etc. If you, study engineering, you can go do that. If you study business, you can go do that. If you go to pre-professional, say, oh, I want to do pre-med, you can go do that. But we want to make sure that, if you're going to make the investment for 4 years in college, that a student is going to leave and have something tangible. Right. And he just wanted to have the conversation. It's like nothing's wrong with liberal arts. He'll tell you he went to Wesleyan, which is one of the most, top liberal arts schools in the country where everybody goes. His degrees are in English and African American studies. His dad was like, what are you going to do that? I guess I'm going to be a teacher. You know what I'm saying? So we want to make sure that as people are thinking about liberal arts, that yes, they're great. The research shows that they're critical thinkers, that students can go and forth and do that. But we also want to make sure that when you finish college, can you get a job?
Right.
Do you have a career? You know what I'm saying? Can you pay back? Maybe if you took some loans out, can you get a return on your investment? See, it's a whole chapter that he wrote that I had to talk about because he disappeared.
Hold on. Let me, obviously, you've been listening and you read the chapter, so you did a good job.
Let me ask a question real quick. Like if I wanted to call you guys or call somebody, or is there a resource that's out there somewhere that if my daughter is telling me, Daddy, I want to drop out of college because I want to do this, what do you do in a situation like that? Or what would you recommend?
So we received this question in several different forms in the past 6 months. And I think one of the main things we have to do is to say, okay, obviously we're going to support our children, but we have to talk about what are the exceptions and what are the norms. So, yes, there are people who can build up followings and they can sustain themselves, but most people, that's not the case. most people need a fallback plan. They need to have a 4-year degree. So yes, one of the things that we talk about is Beyonce. She ain't got a degree. LeBron James, he don't got a degree. Jay-Z, he doesn't have a degree. There are lots of people who are successful who don't have degrees, but that's the 1%.
And that's what they'll throw in your face. Oh, well, what about?
Exactly. But you say, okay, so I would say in that case, give me 10 people who follow this platform. Because, if you give them 10 people, then okay, then there's something behind it. But if you can only name 3 or 4, then you're taking a big chance. Yeah. And that's there. You can do both. You can be in school. You can continue to build this up. But one of the things that in my life I look at, there are a lot of professional athletes. There are a lot of people who are hot for a second. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Musicians. I mean,
musicians, professional athletes. So I would rather steady, like, what I didn't have much money in my 20s. I had a little bit more in my 30s. You know what I'm saying? In my 40s, you know what I'm saying? I'm hitting my stride. Right. And then hopefully it continues to ascend. But when I look at some of these artists and these people who have been hot for a second, and when your best days in your 20s, you got a long life to live.
Long life. Yeah.
You got a long life to live, God willing.
And let me piggyback on that. I think he actually said that really well. We had
Of course I did. Of course I did.
But he was there. He was here. He was with you.
He was here.
No. 100%.
He's always here. He's always here.
Very key years.
In spirit.
We wrote a chapter, a split chapter in we call In Our Opinion. And I actually wrote the first line of mine is, I don't believe college is for everyone, which I understand could be contradictory to what I do making a living and with this book, but I believe that. Right. I believe that because again we see success stories. I do believe that the word college can be also associated with vocational training. I want to be very clear that if you want to, we're always going to need air conditioning. People can fix air conditioners and plumbers and electricians. So I want that to be an option. So our company's called Understanding the Choices, right? College is a path, not the path, it's a path. It's, there are several schools to consider. All that said, it's tough. I think we're all at this age where we're still probably indoctrinated or we believe what our parents believe, which is you should have a good job and you should go to college. There's that population or part of us, percentage of us. And then there's the rest of us who are seeing these 20-somethings blowing up, making money, using social media. And I want them to win. But like you said, it's a long life and we don't know. And I think what's even worse than that, I think a lot of kids have regrets. When I heard Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, say he regrets not having the college experience, right? That means that there's this window of time in most people's lives of 18 to 22 where they need some self-awareness and adversity and to see other people their age succeeding and excelling. Right now, when you start grinding and you're 18, 20, 21 years old, everybody's disparate. There's no galvanization of people all together, even like there is in the military where you're all working towards one goal. So if your kid is going to make money successfully for the rest of their life and believe that at 18, 22, great. But we still believe that college is a serious consideration for the overwhelming bulk of the population because of the people you meet, the experiences you'll have, your parental support. Like you said, you're not, at some point you'll be like, enough is enough. I'm cutting you off. Your parents ain't gonna do that, or they shouldn't do that 18 to 22. So.
You said they should or they shouldn't?
Should not.
I think we got to ride them out. I mean, again, my pops is my best friend, and he's still a huge supporter of me, not necessarily financially, but I think that too often black families, let's talk about, I'm done at 18. I'm done when you get to college. I'm like, let's make sure we put these kids on the right path.
Because there's a trend where a lot of students who are finishing college, a lot of them non-black, are moving back with their families. And their families are saying, hey, stay with us. Yeah. We'll pay your rent. Figure it out. You know what I'm saying? We have, we're going to provide a parachute for you to make sure you're safe. And so we want to make sure that.
Juices. What's your favorite chapter of the book, each individually?
The ones they wrote.
Well, I mean, he wrote
I'm just tripping.
So mine, without a doubt, it's always been the introduction, because it really introduces you know, kind of the past. So you got, and for those of you who haven't read it, you need to get it. It talks about the inauguration of President Joe Biden, and it talks about that his assistant, Cedric Richardson, went to Morehouse. It talks about Barack Obama being in the crowd. It talks about all the different people who were there, who had different paths of college, HBCUs, PWIs, and success to be in that place. And it sets a platform to what we continue to push is you have to redefine success. That Vice President Kamala Harris was right there, the first African American woman to become vice president of the United States, went to historically Black college university. So we wanted to set the tone that as you go into this process, you can't assume the success only happens by going to certain institutions. And so I really wanted to put that out there up front to kind of there are people who go into this process with their own assumption to say, oh, okay, all these people were there, and then you are open to what else the rest of the book has.
That's a great question because I don't think we've ever been asked that question before. So I had to flip through it. And
hey, let's a quick story. We wrote this book. We went back and forth. We went through the editing process.
I don't sit down too much. I stand up for a minute.
Move around, baby.
We went through editing, and he refused to read the book. He's like, I'm done with this, man. I've been writing this shit for 6 months. You know what I'm saying?
I don't want to read it. Let somebody else read it.
I'm done with it. Like whatever happens, if it fails, it fails. Like I'm done, because he majored in English. Like he's always gonna find something wrong. You know what I'm saying? I send texts. He's like, you didn't put a comma there. I'm like, man, shut up, man. So
ain't nothing wrong with that.
So he didn't read it, and as we got the final chapter, he said, man, they went through it. I'm good. And then I said, hey, it's a good book. He said, I trust you. We wrote it. So like when he's talking about flipping through it, he's really like, I don't know what's in here.
I don't know I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's real. I'm proud of us. We saw something through. Right. You know what I'm saying? We started something, we finished it.
Right.
When we started, I didn't think it would have. It's having the impact that I envisioned it or wanted to have. But during that season of doubt, I didn't know. So I was like, in case this fails, I don't really want to be too attached to it.
Right. Even though his name's on it. So what's your favorite?
Right on it.
You scratch that name out.
I'm gonna have my moment. He rushed me.
Just want to attack you.
Right, you got me.
You know what? Go back at him.
No, I'm not.
You gonna let him have? You're not.
No, wrong. I'm a little older.
I'm petty. I'm real petty. I did.
We know.
Right. So bottom line is, I just flipped through it. The resurgence of HBCU culture. All right. Okay. I'll sit down. I don't want to complicate things for you. Okay. I'll figure it out. So, bottom line is, the resurgence of HBCU culture, Tim took the lead on, but I think that's my favorite chapter because it talks about a shift in power. So think about the word power, right? That's a powerful word. And I like that's what it's titled, the resurgence of HBCUs. And HBCUs ain't never gone nowhere. They've always had the impact on the Black community that I probably wasn't aware of when I was 18. But now at 48, I'm like, damn, like we was really doing something. HBCU culture, at least. So bottom line is, that's a great chapter. It talks about power. We talk about the different HBCUs, and then following chapter called the Black Ivies, which we just kind of, put it out there so that people would be mad that we said Morehouse, Howard, and Spelman were the best. But if they read the chapter, we're really celebrating all HBCUs. But the research of HBCU culture talks about Beyonce and the homecoming things that she did for Netflix. Talks about, Michael Strahan. Talks about Chris Paul and the initiative that some of the NBA guys have done. So Deion, obviously, to an extent, like that focus, that attention, that love, that's what it is. That went into that chapter from Tim makes me appreciate HBCUs. And the bottom line is that you'll never hear, I have not to date heard an HBCU person I wish I would have went to a PWI. I've heard plenty of PWI people, Black people went to PWIs who said I should have went to an HBCU.
For those who don't know what PWI is, please.
Predominantly white institution.
Okay, just want to make sure.
And so on the record, y'all have recorded his favorite chapters are ones that I wrote. I just go put that up.
You say,
I'll keep it. I'll say it 100%. I mean, I didn't sign up to write it with you if I didn't think it was going to be good. Like,
Right.
like,
right.
you know, like you said, my name is on it. So
Right.
you got your street cred, you got your higher education cred. You wrote a good chapter, and I respect it. Plus, after I write my own stuff, I can't read that no more. That means I got to revise it. I thought, nah, just let it go.
You don't want to go back. No, I feel you. I feel you.
So after doing this, writing this, being on the road, you know, all of the accolades that you're receiving right now, how has this changed you as a person?
So what I'll say is, I wouldn't use the word changed. So he doesn't like the word passion. He's like, what is passion? It's overused. What I will say is it solidified my passion for the work that we do. That, you know, if I had to say my life's work is to try and help people, obviously Black people first, but any people access college education and all the promise that comes with it. This book helped me say, this is what I want to do. Like, you know, we have been traveling around and, you know, I said, like, I'm having fun. Like, if you tell me, oh, you're going to get paid to go around the country, to be able to, you know, sit down, talk with friends about something that you love to do that's ultimately going to help move the conversation forward for Black people, to help, you know, narrow the wealth gap, then sign me up all day. And so, you know, as we started this project, thinking about that moment when George Floyd, you know, his life was taken, thinking about the bird watcher, thinking about where we were at in 2020. And, you know, there are a lot of things that, you know, happen to say, oh, we want to help Black people. This is a way that we are helping Black people. And if I can be a small part of that, that's really changed me, and it's invigorated me. And it's like, you know, I just want to keep going and going. And so that's something that's excited me.
Yeah.
While I don't like the word passion, only because it's overused, not because I don't like it.
You don't believe in it.
It's just I just hear it too much from people who I don't think understand the definition.
Right. Yeah.
That's number one.
Yeah.
I like the word purpose.
Okay.
You know, and Tim's always just saying, you know, I could have a full conversation with you with Jay-Z quotes, and people ask me a question.
There's one up there.
Yeah. Right. That's from the blueprint.
Right.
Right.
That's right. That's
So
right.
I have purpose. So, you know, all 444, he says, you know, I'm clear why I'm here. How about you? So I am clear. This project has made it clear that I have an assignment.
Right.
You've been thinking about different colleges for years from different experiences. You worked in this profession. You are the anointed one to write about this particular thing for your people.
Right. Right.
And that's been important to me. So I learned about that stuff personally.
I like that.
As it aligns with Tim, I'm taking one step deeper.
Yeah. I got him in his bag now. He here. Welcome. Welcome.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Let's do it.
The motto of my fraternity is friendship is essential to the soul.
That's right.
So it didn't say fraternity is essential to the soul. It says friendship is essential to the soul. I'm an only child. I've had a best friend since I was 15 years old. I've learned a lot about friendship, and meaning that Tim and I, despite our differences personally, professionally, we have a common vision to make a contribution to the Black community. Did I see this in the beginning? No, I didn't see that. We could be part of an academic canon with our thoughts. But by doing that, I gained a friend. And that's important to me. I think you see it, and he knows. My biggest fear amongst the two of us is the Paul McCartney, John Lennon, Dame Dash, Jay-Z shit. Right? I don't want that. Because we got a good thing, so let's compromise and keep it going. And it's going to be the life's work, so let it be the life's work. So I think the question was, what have I enjoyed most to learn about myself personally? Is that I'm willing to do what I need to do to be me and protect myself and protect what I built separate to him, but I don't want to break up with him over something that's going so good that we could affect the change in the world.
So we're here.
Why just let me have the last note on
But you know what? But I got you.
Wait, no, now I'm gonna say.
I like this.
You always feel like you gotta say the last word. I say, all right, maybe I do.
Right.
So let me fall back and let it have it.
Right. Yesterday.
Yesterday. But now today he got to make sure he just jumps me.
Hey, I'm gonna ask you something in a minute.
But listen, this is what I would do. So if you follow Timothy L. Fields on Instagram and you just like go through it, there are a lot of things you're gonna find out. You're gonna find out I like being on planes. You're gonna find out like tequila, and then there's a hashtag no new friends. All right, I'm right here, friends since I was 12 years old. Mm-hmm. When we first started talking, he said that but he said that hurt my feelings, man. You know, new friends. Like, am I not your friend? And I was like, it's just I know people who I've been rocking with since the beginning. To like, y'all call me on a whim. Hey, we got this podcast. You in town? Boom. Yep. No new friends. We've been rocking this. But he, was like, am I your friend? I was like, yes. You know what I'm saying? It's just 90% of the people I know, I've known for over 30 years.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm not closed off to meeting new people. But to his point, this relationship that we have grown, like, it's just is helped me. It's helped me like stretch me in ways that I did not know. They're like, one of the best parts about this is I've always had a job. Like, no matter if I work an hour, 80 hours.
We had our first job together.
Yeah.
Snow cone place.
I've always had a job that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got paid. I've never been an entrepreneur. And he introduced me to entrepreneurship. And, like, just the idea that, like, if you get out and grind, this money comes.
Let me not to cut you off real quick.
But you did.
You're right. Marcus, but see, I need to jump in real quick on something real quick. You've always wanted to start stuff, though, right?
Yes.
Like you never just didn't like. I just want to work for somebody. You always wanted to have your own stuff, right?
Correct.
Why didn't you take the leap?
You got it. Don't matter what he did back then.
No. But to your like, there was stuff that had started, and one of the things that we learned is accountability. Mm-hmm. Like, work 6 months. Oh, this didn't want. Mm-hmm. I got this job to fall back on. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like he, what he kills, he eats. Mm-hmm. And so I think, through this, as it's been growing and, we got some great advisements like this book, they're gonna, make the money off the book. We don't make much money off this book, but y'all's brand, who y'all are, that's gonna make the money. And so now we're going around talking. And I was telling them the other day, like, checks come to my house, and I'm like Mr. in Color Purple. I'm going to the mailbox every day, like
looking for. Yeah,
you setting traps, like don't touch the mailbox.
Any more letters come? Maybe could.
No, again, like I said, so we feel passionate, we feel purposeful. And the bottom line is that, like you said, we having fun. We talk about our book. We having fun.
Oh yeah,
money.
That's right. That's important.
I was like, all right.
That's right.
I can rock with that.
That's right. It's mailbox money. It's mailbox money. Oh yeah.
So just rest in peace to Dave from De La Soul. What's the line that they said the business making moves around the world, making money, having fun.
That's right.
We have right.
That's right.
I'm making moves, I'm making money, and I'm having fun. All good.
Yep.
And then there's a purpose behind it. We wrote the book, so he's a capitalist. Like he bleeds green.
That's right. At the end of the day, hey, you got to get that bread.
I love the people. That means
that's right.
Can you love me back with a love offering?
That's right.
Yesterday.
That's right.
We got a love offering.
There you go.
I appreciate you more.
There you go.
When next time you call me, I'm pick up just a little quicker.
That's right.
Because you respected my time.
That's right.
And my hustle.
He accepts new friends.
He accepts new friends.
I'll get back to you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I
he accepts new friends.
No, he's the only child. He ain't got no choice.
So you gotta have it. Oh no, but I
brother, you're my best friend again.
I like the purpose. I've never heard that before. Like you said, passion. We hear it all the time. I heard passion about 2,800 times last week. And did it mean anything? And no.
That's all. Whatever it means to you is do you. And I think that this book, which again, was written with passion, but for a purpose.
Well, right.
We want it to be in the hands of. Yeah, he said it best. What you say?
Yeah. I said, you know, I want this to be the Black College Admission Bible. Like, you know, if you're black and you want to go to college, you need to know a verse from this book.
A black college going family. This needs to be in the hands of every black family that's Bible.
So you saying it need to be a picture of Jesus and then y'all?
Hey, listen.
You said it. I didn't say it.
Hey, that's what I want. I want us to be on the other side.
Or if y'all just want to put this in hotels around the country, and you want to pay for it, you can do that. But so you know, in my next lifetime, probably never. You know what I'm saying? In my mind, I think I'm a dope boy. You know what I'm saying?
Here we go. This by Lines from the Wire, Snowfall.
All of
like,
it.
son, like I get it. I like those shows too.
Right.
But really,
But one of the things is Avon Barksler said, you know, I guess I'm just a hustler. Suppose I want my corners. And so throughout this process, I have been like, I want to be good on any MLK in any neighborhood. I want to go talk to the people to where they say, you know, we want this information. And I want my corners because I want to know that when I come in, I'm not just talking to academics. I want to talk to the people. Right. We were at a church yesterday. You know, there were people who don't want to go to Ivy League institutions. They just want their kids to go to college. You know, what do I need to know, you know, for my child to go to college? The mom, you know, came up to me. She says, you know, I want my daughter to go to Historical Black College University, but it's just, you know, I can't get anybody on the phone, and, you know, it's just frustrating. And I just, you know, do you know somebody? And she was talking, you know, the school that she was talking about, I so happen to know somebody at. I said, you email me, I'm going to give you a name that you can talk to. And so, you know, all I want to be in this book to be is a resource. We want people to, like, as they go through this, that they have questions, you can go to our website, understanding the choices. You can send us an email. We're going to answer you, you know what I'm saying? And then if you want more help, if you say, I want somebody to hold my hand through this process, we're going to say, hey, he has a company, he can do it. But you know what I'm saying? You know, but you know, there's something for that as well.
But what's a good time to really kind of push the book out? Like you said earlier, there's a season for everything. So is there like a season where you would really start hitting the road and start grinding real hard with the book?
Well, that's part of the issue, right? Is that we believe it's right now. Right, it's March. So March, April, May, June would be a great time for black families to really get a good grip on where your kid is, no matter the grade. So you can think about their classes, their extracurricular activities, what they're gonna do over the summer. If your kid's in 9th or 10th grade, like, okay, we know that this is coming up, so let's use this season before the summertime comes and we all forget everything because it's summertime. Fall comes, you in school, so you hustling just to get up, go to school, go repeat. So it's right now for the younger families. I guess in the fall, August, September, October, November, it's really for the senior family. So how should we push the book out? We plant the seed now, right? Which I think is important. And we want black families to start earlier. So all that said, I think we push the book out heavy now. We take a little summer breather, but then August, September, October, like that's the grind time. Mm-hmm. You know, that's when people want the last part of it, which is the process of what they need to do for applications. Like now, is application due. So to answer your question, plant the seed now in the spring, let it, you know, breathe a little bit in the summer, but then, you know, really rake the ground. What's a plowing reference? You know, go hard in the paint.
Yeah.
I'll just say
there you go. We'll go hard in the paint.
So now that you have this book, do you look to now next write a book about what to do while your kid is in college, and then what to do once your kid gets out of college? You know,
watch this. I'm gonna give you free reign. Because I cut you off the other day when something like this came up. I'm gonna let you spit whatever you want to say about this topic.
So this has come up before?
No. So this is our life. So essentially, we had an event 2 weeks ago in Baltimore. Our publisher came out because it's based at Johns Hopkins University Press is based in Baltimore. They came out and they were like, wow, you know, people love this. And just a week before that, we said, hey, we want to do a second edition. Yeah, we don't do second editions until like 3-5 years out. It's only been out 6 months.
Why?
Because they're like, we want to give it runway. We want to let the book go, yada, yada, yada. So then after they saw that event in Baltimore, they said, you know what? We agree. We want to do a second edition. We were on a call the other day and I was excited And I wanted to, talk about, we got green lit for the second edition. And he's like, nah, B, we need to keep it close. We can't be telling people about it. So yes, we got green lit for our second edition. And in the second edition, we're going to cover biracial children and how they identify in this process, how that parents play out, different parents from different backgrounds. We're going to talk about mental health, talk about as students and families go through this process, the importance of mental health. We're going to talk about essays, how students should be presenting themselves in the essays and really making themselves stand out, how to find their voice. And then we also going to talk about this pending Supreme Court case and how that could change college admission. So the second edition is coming. Hopefully it will be there in 2024, possibly, mid-year, August, September. Then the other part is, our umbrella company is understanding the choices, and we want people to think about what are the choices in this process. And so obviously college is one part, but then there's entrepreneurship. So we want to, also create a book that we talk about entrepreneurship. We want to talk about wealth building. We want to talk about students going into trades so that we, really acknowledge that there's not one path. Saying you can go to the military, just in the case that your daughter says, college ain't for me, I want to take this entrepreneurship route, they can do that. And so we want to make sure, and then obviously we want to talk about wealth building. We want to talk about like, obviously you go to a job, you make money, but how can we invest money? How can we buy real estate? How can we find other ways to make our money work other than just, I'm gonna go work my 9 to 5, I'm gonna get a check, I'm gonna pay my mortgage, I'm gonna pay my car note, and then I'm gonna do that again month over month. But we were like, how you get the sleep money? How you invest in it? How you do your subscriptions? How do you do these different things? How do you set up LLCs, S corps, to where you can write stuff off and do all these things to where you're keeping more money, and that money is cycling. And so we want to get into that as well. So these are the long-term vision that we have over the next 10 years. I told them I want 10 summers. You know what I'm saying? 10 summers, we're going to run it. We're going to put the word out there. We're going to try and make an impact. We're going to try and do our little part for the culture. And then, we're going to see where we're at. But, we definitely want to continue to move the conversation forward. And this book is just one of the many ways we want to do it. But we're excited about the moment we're in.
I have a kid that's, getting ready to graduate high school. I don't feel like she's prepared to go into college. Do you think that high school's not, because when we were in school, high school was completely different. Everything was done pen and paper. If you didn't have this assignment turned in, you got a 0. That's flat out. Whatever score you got, that was the score you got. Now they have kids where you can turn in assignments late, or you can go and redo the test, or you redo this work, and then we'll still give you credit for it. Do you feel that's truly preparing our kids to go into college? Because universities, anything you go to college-wise now, they're not going to give you that second chance at whatever it is, the assignment they gave you. So do you feel our kids are prepared to go into college? And then do you think what would be the percentage of these kids who will be successful in college now?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. And, we don't know how the pandemic affected kids. It's just a different generation. I mean, I do think that freshman year is always a challenging time for kids, making that transition, leaving home and all that. My question is right back at you is, what's the alternative? If you don't send them to college, then what are they going to do? There's 3 things, right? They go to military, salute, thank you, right? They ain't gonna get a job at Starbucks or something and make $5, $7, $8, $9 an hour. Or they go to jail. So I don't want to put that on the table. So it's college, military, or job. I have trouble saying I want my child to work a menial job, but I understand it's character building, but it also could be wasting time. My dad's a Vietnam vet, but he was clear with me, I don't want you going to the military. I don't think I want my kids going to the military.
But my dad said the same thing to me. My dad was in the military. He was a Vietnam vet and told me the same thing. I don't want you in the military. So, all right.
I appreciate the military for doing something that I'm not doing. So, there's that.
They're doing their job, just like you're doing your job.
You are welcome.
Or you ain't doing it no more.
Purpose, their assignment. But I will say this. I think that if you don't feel like your kid's ready to go to college, the question is then, what is the plan? Is the plan to be home and flick channels and watch Netflix? I hope not. Is the plan to get a job so you can learn more about yourself, but get a job so you got somewhere to go every day? And I don't want to hear I'm trying for 6 months. No, go work at Walmart. Go, the late night shift at Target. I don't care what you got to do. But what's the plan? Right. So I understand you don't want to just give money to a college because it's that time in her life. So then what is the plan? Does she have some skin in the game? And sometimes we scare our kids into going to college. I don't want to figure life out by myself, so I'll just go do this. As long as they're not flunking out, I think it's a good time for them to be there. Okay. If you're not doing that, you're just there floating as a person who's not involved with sports or anything, then I do think it's a waste of money.
And that's where cost comes in, because you can say, oh, you should go to this community college. You can go to this college where you're learning at a different price tag than if you go to a place like Emory that's $80,000 a year. Like those are two different places to say you just trying to figure out life.
You got to live on your own, do your own laundry. Like, it sounds pretty routine, but I'm guilty of this. I may have helicoptered my kid too much. Maybe I didn't let the reins off early enough. But on a day-to-day, do I think about, what is this eating? Yeah. What is he like? How are his clothes clean? Like, I'm mad that I'm thinking about it, but it's the truth. That's the truth.
Yeah, I worried about that whenever my daughter moved. When my daughter left, I worried about that. And I knew she was going to be able to take care of herself.
Right. You know the basics. But
right. If she get hungry, she going to eat.
Right.
If her clothes stink, she going to wash the motherfuckers. So I know that, I know they doing it, but it's still, you like, damn, she's so little.
My daughter,
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, what the fuck?
We have raised, since we have set it in her mind that, one, you will have your own place. You will not live at home when you're in college. You'll pay your rent. You will pay your insurance, because then we're giving her a car. But we're preparing you for adulthood. So she understands $500 a month. That's your mortgage, but you get everything is included. Right. Internet, washer, dryer, furnishment.
$500?
Yeah. So we're like, the first, year or two, we understand it's going to be mentally challenging, but we'll be here for you. Something happens. And then as you get into your junior and your senior years, where it gets a little more stressful college-wise, then we're going to pick up, everything that you can't do. So, but we want you to learn that you have to establish these, these steps. That way, once you're done, you know how to do it. You know how it is to become an adult.
And as a parent, I think one of the beauties of the book is that we come from a parental lens also, right? So this is our professional life. We can tell you how to do a whole bunch of stuff. But then we're also parents. We inject that into the book of what we're thinking about for our own kids. And not saying that we're right or wrong, but just our truth. I wrote a chapter about my son in baseball in the recruitment process. But bottom line is that I'm 18 years in now. Right. I can't just say, fuck it, I give up. Yeah, if you're on your own now, I ain't gonna throw him out there. The world's not another black boy like that.
So we have a segment in our show, and I want to see if you can think of something. I call it, that shit's gotta go.
I got one.
That shit's gotta go.
Like my first one, I was like sagging. I seen dude that's still, I'm like, bro, that sagging was how long ago? But you still grown man with your pants around your ankles. Hey, come on, man, that shit's gotta go.
Well, look, I got a couple of them. Let me tell you one of them I got right now. Whenever a motherfucker go in the sink or in the bathroom at somebody else's house, it's always that little hard piece of toothpaste that's stuck on the sink. That motherfucker got to go. It's always one. So I was sitting there, right? So that gotta go, dog. That shit gotta go.
All right. So off the top, we gotta go. And I'm trying to. My son. I have twins, 9 years old, son, daughter, beautiful children. But my son, I had to get him to stop doing it. But I see it in public. You cannot. Shit gotta go. Is where a different brand shoes than what you got on. So you can't put some Nikes on.
And you got
Adidas top.
Okay. All right, here's what gotta go.
All right, what gotta go? Give it to me, baby.
I don't understand people who don't put ketchup in the refrigerator after they open it.
That's
people who put ketchup
in the sink,
in the pantry.
That's nasty.
That's nasty, man.
That's nasty.
The ketchup done been opened.
And it's crusty as shit on it.
Refrigerated.
Yep. To do.
Hey man, thank you all, man. Hashtag no new friends, man.
I just need